Trump executive orders target TikTok, WeChat apps. News recap for Friday, August 7, 2020. Limitations on the Chinese apps are likely to increase tensions with Beijing. Both the Senate and House have passed legislation barring the use of popular video sharing app TikTok on government-issued devices amid national security concerns about the Chinese-owned social media platform. Click the link to read the related article and watch the video coverage. President Trump issued a pair of executive orders that would impose new limits on Chinese social media apps TikTok and WeChat, escalating tensions with Beijing and effectively setting a 45-day deadline for an American company to purchase TikTok's U.S. operations. The orders bar people in the U.S. are subject to U.S. jurisdiction from transactions with the China-based owners of the apps, effective 45 days from Thursday. That raises the possibility that U.S. citizens would be prevented from downloading the apps in the Apple or Google App Stores. It also renews pressure on Microsoft Corp. And TikTok's parent, Beijing-based ByteDance Limited, to reach a deal for the app's U.S. operations. The TikTok order formalizes Mr. Trump's earlier calls for shutting down the app should no American buyer complete a deal within 45 days. Contracts agreed to before the 45-day period elapses aren't subject to the prohibitions in the order. ByteDance representatives couldn't be reached for comment. Mr. Trump's first order argues that TikTok poses an economic and national security threat to U.S. interests. U.S. officials have expressed concern that China's authoritarian government would have access to the data TikTok collects from users, including Americans. TikTok has said it would never hand over such data. This data collection threatens to allow the Chinese Communist Party access to Americans' personal and proprietary information, potentially allowing China to track the locations of federal employees and contractors, build dossiers of personal information for blackmail, and conduct corporate espionage, the order says. The Thursday orders are likely to be met with indignation in China, where talk of a TikTok sale has sparked anger and is hardening long-held suspicions that the U.S. aims to sabotage the country's efforts to grow its technology. The orders come at a low point in U.S.-China relations, with an economic face-off between the two countries escalating. For Beijing, the targeting of WeChat and its parent, Tencent Holdings Limited, is likely to be a bigger concern than TikTok. Although WeChat's 1.2 billion users are mostly in China, the app is a key link between China and its overseas diaspora, and is widely used by foreigners who have professional or personal ties in China. Tencent is also a much more established company with a history of cooperating with the Beijing government in a variety of areas, and boasts a market capitalization of nearly $700 billion. TikTok, which says it has about 100 million monthly users in the US, is valued at roughly in the tens of billions of dollars. It isn't profitable globally. In addition to WeChat, its do-everything app, Tencent also is a giant in the world of gaming. It wholly owns Riot Games Inc., creator of the popular video game, League of Legends, and has stakes in World of Warcraft, maker Activision Blizzard Inc. and Epic Games Inc., developer of the popular game, Fortnite. It is unclear whether the executive order, which targets Tencent's transactions related to WeChat, would affect Tencent's other businesses. A spokesman for Tencent declined to comment. Microsoft has said it hopes to acquire TikTok's business in the US and 3 other countries. The company, which said Sunday it aimed to complete the takeover discussions no later than September 15, declined to comment on the order. Mr. Trump said earlier this week that he was prepared to approve a purchase of TikTok's U.S. operations. But he said a very substantial portion of the sale price should go to the U.S. government. Thursday's TikTok order doesn't mention this. The executive order came hours after the Senate unanimously passed a bill prohibiting federal employees from using TikTok on government-issued devices, as U.S. national security concerns mount. The measure passed through an expedited procedure that avoided a roll call vote. In light of all we know, it is unthinkable to me that we should continue to permit federal employees, those workers entrusted with sensitive government data, to access this app on their work phones and computers, Senator Josh Hawley, R.Mo., the sponsor of the measure, said in a statement. If I have anything to say about it, we won't be stopping here. The House has already approved a similar provision as part of a broad, must-pass measure authorizing military spending. Mr. Trump has threatened to veto the bill over his opposition to provisions renaming military bases that honor the Confederacy. For the TikTok legislation to become law, both chambers would have to enact it in the same format. The Senate bill also bans on government-issued devices any successor application developed by ByteDance or any entity it owns.